you can collect your award and take pictures. Thank you.
And Lagos State Tourism, Arts and Culture, and Lagos Cultural Vision. Also, special thanks to our sponsors and supporters for this wonderful event. Congratulations to our honorees.
So I'm going to be moderating this session, and I'm joined here with awesome panelists. I have Mr. Malik Afak Boa, the founder of Elder Siri. So I have Mr. Oluwa Muyemi Ori Molade. Got this? Thank you. I have Mr. David Adeleke. I have to look at his face again because his name. I have Abiola Nature. So welcome. Let's put our hands together for the panelists. Right. So here's how this final session is going to go. And a few guiding and we're going to questions from the audience. So I'm going to start with Mr. Malik. You're an AI artist.
The way technology grows, it's the same way we have AI as a tool for us today. So we need to think about how we utilize this technology not to replace anything, but to enhance what we already do, with traditional workloads and all of that.
Moving on to Mr. Yomi, you're a communication expert. It almost feels like AI has replaced what you do in a way. Do you agree with that? And what skills should communication professionals have to stay relevant in today's world?
Okay. Am I audible? Okay, great. I like the way you mentioned that AI communication is already very extinct, right? But let me put it in the new genre as people talk about it. Communication AI is not a situation of it going extinct. It's a redefinition of growth, leveraging technology, right? What naturally, how do I say, things naturally that are repetitive, right, obviously are the ones that will go extinct. But come to think about it, things that need your thought process, the way you think, the way you scenario play things, AI will not necessarily do that for you, put it into a situation that you find yourself at any given point in time. So it's more of displacement and role change. It's all about nuances and nomenclature. But it's how well as individuals we leverage it to be more productive, to more creative, and how the nuances of the local environment is leveraging it. So in terms of skills, I'm going to break it into two forms. One, as we lead into the AI era, and the second form is how well can you leverage AI in case you are pivoting into it. So you have the nuances of you being a strategic thinker as a skill, right? How do you think like outside the box, right? You need to be more strategic in terms of how you're thinking, because just like I always say, and as of today, the media landscape is shifted, it has shifted, it has moved from what we used to know. So take for example, age 0 to 35 houses 80% of the current population we have in this country. So by default, if you meet somebody, you ask somebody, why are you not watching NTA? That age has shifted. So it needs to be democratized in terms of how people get content. So you have to be strategic in how you communicate, who you are speaking to at every given point in time, right? Putting into consideration that the landscape can move. That's one. Two, We should not run from our cultural and emotional thinking process, right? It's a skill, you know. Don't say, oh, because AI is this or because we are in a global village, as it were. So I would always encourage people in terms of leveraging that cultural nuances for time. Know more of it, speak to it, because you don't know where it will come handy. And thirdly, AI literacy. We are getting to an era of no code, right? How well do you know this thing called AI? And for individuals who are already pivoting into AI, just 2 skills, right? The first is the mastery of English language. Now you might be asking myself, this guy is like sick. It's a skill, the mastery of the English language or the mastery of any language, depending on what the LLM is built on, right? How are you a master in that language? Then the second one is how do you paint the perfect scenario? That is the biggest problem we have. For you to look at a system and say you start here and you end here, most of us can't think about it. It is a skill that we should start imbibing, because come to think about it, with tools like Lovable, Minimax, you can literally build an agent, you can build what else? You can build a website, you can build anything. You just need those 2 things. Your mastery of English language and your mastery of building the right scenario.
And so your question was as regards, in financial space now, AI is doing a lot of work. But I'm going to tweak that question a bit, because I also know that there's a lot of creators here, and looking at it because for everything there's a demand and a supply side to it. While we're able to talk about how AI is going to affect, we professionals and the way we're meant to, deliver our services. Off the top of that, I'll look at, sub areas around advisory services. So how do we ensure that we are better suited to provide advisory services for businesses? However, but looking at it also from the supply side, which I really want to deep dive into, is the fact that in the creative sector is one that is very upcoming in recent times, and there's a lot of emphasis on it. It's not been old, but we've seen the impact a lot. And for financial institutions, is a sector that we know is thriving, but we also are, looking at it from a very observatory part right now before going deep dive into it. And the reason is simple, right? We've seen a lot of creators, right? But we need, as financial institutions, want to see more creators move from individuals of influences to creative entrepreneurs that are building sustainable businesses. And when I'm talking about sustainable businesses, I'm talking about businesses that at the end of the day make profits. So for creatives, more often than not, when we talk about creatives, we're looking at platforms, we're looking at the technology that drives it, we're looking at the skills that we all have and rightfully in abundance. But some factors that we look at are very critical. In business management, there's a theory called the McKinsey 7S, and that talks about strategy, that talks about skills, that talks about processes that need to be in place. And for us, as financial institution, we need all of that to be in place. And it's high time that entrepreneurs, like I said, creatives, they need to start looking at themselves more creatively in that space, because at the end of the day, we want a sector that is sustainable. And when I mean a sector that is sustainable, is something that is able to drive itself.
Look at Hollywood, for instance. America has great PR, and that's Hollywood, that's storytelling, because we're very intentional about the stories we tell. Now come to Africa, when we tell stories, it's mostly about survival, yeah? We're trying to make money, quick money, or sell numbers, or build traffic. We're not as intentional about the stories that we tell. That aspirational place, and that's the data as well. So right now, the struggle is, if you want to create Africans or an affluent-looking Nigerian person, you have to feed it a bunch of data for it to understand who you are, where you're coming from. And I'm not even talking about the regular cultural, things that we know, Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. What about the subcultures? They're not even part of that conversation. That's a different thing entirely. So when you as a creator want to create originality, you have to feed it with your entire experiences, your entire catalog, you know? And it depends on what you're trying to do as a creator. If you're a writer, AI is a very massive industry, and people just look at AI as well. It's big. It is. The video side has many branches. The audio side, they have many branches. So first of all, narrow down the role you play as an individual, as a creator, and your skill sets. Then you can start to approach it with the kinds of story you want to tell. And the great thing is, think about it as a blank canvas, that whatever I imagine I can create based on my own data sets. And yeah, the sky is the limit.
I have learned from some of the most intelligent, most highly skilled people anywhere in the world. One of my first models or mental models of possibility. So I grew up in a church setting, and for much of my teenage and my early years, I attended Winners. And if you know anything about Winners, it's always possibility mentality. Like, it is possible. It doesn't really matter what is going on, what is going wrong in the world. As long as this thing is in front of me, it is possible. So that really helped. And for you, who is growing up in this kind of society where there is a lot that is going wrong, it is very easy for you to veer off course because you are focused on the wrong people. So I think that's the first thing that I would say. Look for people who can show you a very, very vivid picture of possibility. That's the first thing that I would say. And this is generally applicable to anybody. But another thing that I would say is the structure part. If you can get a job early in your career, so that you know how to operate within structure, how to run a business. It doesn't matter if you are a creator or not. What you are doing is business. It's a career. You hope to make money from it. And you don't want to be the kind of person who make a lot of money in the beginning of the year. By the middle of the year, because deals are drying up, you are broke. And then that now makes you desperate. And when you are desperate, you become vulnerable. And anybody can take advantage of you when you're vulnerable. You don't want that to be you. So you want to work in a system that is structured, where maybe even in 9 to 5. I know people, like to hate on 9 to 5 now. But it's really important that you know what it means to run an organization. You know what it means to work with people. You know what it means to wake up at this particular time, go to work at this particular time, finish at this particular time, so that there is rhythm and system in your life. And then when you feel like you've acquired enough unique, this is the key word now, unique knowledge that can give you a competitive advantage, you can now decide that you want to set out on your own. But when you're setting out on your own, you have to do it maybe like a year or two in mind. Okay, in 2 years, I'm going to set out on my own. I need some sort of buffer. The buffer doesn't necessarily mean that you have a lot of money in the bank. It could be that you've built such solid relationships that whenever you need something, you know people that you can call on. Fisayo Fosudo, the YouTube channel, and then he has Finance Fridays where he's talking about finance. So it's no more just tech now. But the constant is that Fisayo is a really good storyteller, a really good YouTuber who can do many things. So when I say pick a niche, it doesn't necessarily have to be topic. Your niche could be formats, right? It could be like Malik now. Malik is an artist. That's your niche. Now, you could express your artistry and you express your artistry in multiple ways. But that's your niche. That's something that when people think about you, they can identify you with. And you're not just trying to do everything at once. So Okoye Mighty, I hope that is useful to you and to any other young person sitting in the crowd. I hope you find that useful. But yes, that's what I would say. So structure, mentorship, pick a niche, have a vision, have a clear idea of where you want to be, what you want to do, and then I think that will really set you apart.
All right, thank you. I'm surprised nobody asked about finance because equipment costs. Have you priced a laptop or a camera recently? But we've run out of time. It's been a pleasure moderating this session. Thank you all the panelists. You guys have been very insightful. Thank you for enjoying as well, and I'd like to bring this session to an end. Thank you.
Congratulations to Fisayo Fosudo. He was here, but he had to leave. Congrats to him. Live with Linda, a podcast. Please come on stage. award. Live with Linda. Is there a representative? Okay, thank you. IG Africa, a digital marketing agency. Please someone come on stage to receive your award. IG Africa, is there someone here? Eric Okafor, Tech Innovation in New Media. Please come on stage. Congratulations, Eric. Dr. Ogona Emmanuel Ibweke, Digital Content Creation. Dr. Ogona Emmanuel Ibweke. Please put your hands together. You are not clapping. Let people clap. I can clap for people now. People will clap for you when you win. Thank you. Chama Agweko, Tech Innovation in New Media. Please put your hands together for Chama and all of your representatives. Zebra Stripes Network, digital marketing agency, congratulations. If you have a representative for Zebra Stripes Network. And David Adeleke, Tech Innovation in New Media, he was just one of our panelists. Please come forward to receive your award. And finally, Off Air with Baby and Tools, which I co-host. Thank you so much. You will clap for me. You will clap very well. Clap, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Tosin Ajibade, Olori Supergirl. It's been 10 years. 10 years of new media disruption. Honestly, thank you for carrying a part of the industry. And to the NMC team, thank you for everything you've done for today. My name is Kathleen. I lead the digital team at News Central TV, where Africa is first for us. We're going to be talking about the future of creator monetization, because this whole thing cannot happen without value. You have to show the money, and I am extremely privileged to be surrounded by those who make our lives beautiful with the content that they create and the power that they bring in this space. They have already been introduced. I am going to just give you a little bit of data. I do not know if anyone knows the value of the creator economy in Nigeria and in Africa. Anyone? If you know, hands up. You can get a prize. Anyone? Okay. There's a lot of money in this industry. Maybe they'll tell us if the money is there or not. I'm not going to out you guys. Trust me. I will not say how much you're making, because we cannot even know. The data is very sketchy, because obviously it's private money, but obviously the algorithms on the platforms can tell, and that is why we do have data. The African creator market value was placed at $5.10 billion as of March 2025, and is projected to grow to about $29.84 billion by 2032. That's disruptive. And that is the budget, maybe a budget that is beyond some of our agencies in Nigeria. And the growth is driven by these gurus over here, a thriving talent pool of experts who are using different digital platforms. Also, it's driven by multiple income streams, so the top creators earn from various platforms, and it includes sponsorships, merchandise, licensing deals, business engagements, and ventures into business startups. What we're going to do is have the experts tell us from their perspective how the money is coming in, where the value is, how to get it done, and how important it is to Nigeria and to the continent. I am going to ask a general question to start with, and I would like you to speak from your perspective and tell your story. We want to make this less Nigerianese, less technicalese, less digitalese. So let's talk simple English language. Deal? Great. How important is the digital creator economy? And what has been your personal struggle in, making audiences happy while trying to get some value from it? I'm going to start with Lai.
Praise the Lord. First of all, I'd like to say it's a huge pleasure being here. And to answer your question, how important is the digital creator economy? I think it has grown more recently than it has been in, let's say, in the last 10 years, right? The creator economy right now has more money in it than ever before. So I got into content creation for the passion of it, right? I didn't really see it as something that was lucrative or something that I could do for the longest time. But I thank God that as at the time that I was entering into, content creation full time, it's like that's when the money started coming. So, but yes, now there's a lot of platforms that pay content creators just for the content that they put out. This is aside from, brand collaboration, Facebook. I mean, Facebook doesn't pay Nigerian creators, which is something that I think a lot of creators are already advocating for. Facebook doesn't pay directly, but creators collab with people outside the country so that we can achieve monetization. YouTube pays for content. Snapchat pays for content. So there are different streams in which content creators are getting money. And obviously these platforms are paying in dollars, right? So it is a sizable amount of money. So that is how a lot of content creators make money aside from brand collaboration, adverts, and even TV shows. So I think right now content creation is the new oil and gas.
Your biggest struggle. What has been your biggest struggle?
What has been my biggest struggle? To be honest, I think, like I said, I started doing content creation for the passion of it. But I also realized that whatever you do as your job becomes your job. Right? A lot of people say, oh, if you do something that you love doing, or something that is your hobby, if you do your hobby as your job, you'll never work a day in your life. I don't agree. Anything that becomes your job is your job, right? Even while I was working at Ministry of Justice, there were days I was going there because I didn't feel like going to work. And it's the same thing for content creation. I told myself, if I can become a comedian, whatever I do for the rest of my life, is a lie. There are days that I show up to act, to shoot skits, that I'm not in the mood for it. But at the end of the day, that consistency matters. I just think mental fortitude has been something that I had to really challenge myself to build in the course of this work. And I think that's good.
Thank you. Hello, Zona. You can clap. Thank you.
So, like Ryan said, how important is the social economy? I think, as a creative, the one thing that has been a creative's problem from time is the ability to earn, right? And the ability to earn what the actual value of what their work is worth. So, the fact that this area is growing is beautiful. We're still not getting what we're supposed to be getting, but we're on the way there. So it's really important because if there's money in this part of our niche, our creativity can thrive. They always say, "Na money kill am," better to money kill am. And it's true, it's with everything. If you have more money, you can flex, you can be more creative. So the digital space and creativity, the fact that it's growing is beautiful to see. My own personal struggle with this work that I do is my ability to connect with Nigerians. Content creation is a language. You have to speak the language of your target audience, if not, you won't understand it. And that's in storytelling. So that has always been my own personal struggle. I grew up watching Steven Spielberg, watching all American directors and their work, and sometimes Nigerians don't want to see that. So that has been my own personal struggle. So I've had to, over time, rework my content to be Nigerian relatable. That is my own personal struggle.
That's a struggle.
It's a huge
It's a
struggle.
struggle.
It's a huge struggle.
Bamidele, you are a legal and business expert. So I want us to, the audience to get that angle in terms of the impact and the struggle. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, say I'm actually privileged to be in the room with everyone here. I will pick the first question as the second and then pick the second as the first. The struggles I would say maybe I must have experienced, when I was actively creating content 10 years ago, would be the fact that cross-border payment was a thing. We didn't have the likes of Seller. There wasn't a way you could have gotten paid in dollars as a Nigerian influencer. So most agents rather just pay you what they think they should pay you. That's number one. Number two again is unfair payment. We know how, I'm not here to shade agencies, but we know how I worked in an agency as a strategist for like 2 years. So agencies would collect this from the clients, pay the influencers, and so unfair payment was also another struggle. And third thing was, maybe because of my background as a lawyer, I was always a problem for a lot of agencies. So when they send in their contract, I'm like, yo, I'm not going to do this because why would you tell me I can't work with a competing brand? So also the knowledge graph was also under struggle for a lot of influencers. They didn't understand a lot of things that they were signing, what they were getting themselves into. I've worked with a couple of agency owners here. Penza, he's a very good friend of mine for like 12 years. TJ Dawes, a couple of guys, great guys, but for other people, there's always a bit of a struggle with them. So those are like the struggles that I would say that I faced, then, and I think a couple of people are still facing now. 10 years after, the instruction is there, but there's still issues with collecting payment, as a Nigerian went in Naira. Now back to the issue of, the new media space. I know it's growing, but I will not speak as a creator, I will speak as a lawyer to artists and, people who are basically in the creative space. According to, I think, IFPI 2023, right, the music industry generated $28 billion, right? And out of that $28 billion, streaming contributed to about 63% of the revenue. That's digital. So that means people are making money from Spotify, Apple Music, you name it, right? So it is such a huge, space and a huge market where if you really know what you're doing, there's a lot of money on the table. And there is now, thank God to the rise of Afrobeat, right? Afrobeat is also making it seamless for, entry. You could have a song, Joy Legban is being played in Madison Square Garden, in the UK. So it's like, it's a lot of, a lot of things actually being done. And I would just say, now is a great time to actually become a content creator if your audience and intend to become one. The sky is big, there can't be another like Wasabi, but there's room for someone to also maybe overtake, sort of compete with him, right? There's also room for someone to be another in the zone now. Same space, for my friend here. So, the sky is big enough for you to actually make your money. So, yeah, I think I'll just end it there.
Thank you, Bamidele. The sky is big. The opportunities are there. Victor?
Thank you for pronouncing my name.
Je parle français couramment. Vas-y.
Oh, merci.
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Victoire. I always like to emphasize on my name because, I'm French and people don't know how to pronounce my name. I see like Wasabi, Elozonam, and my friend Betty here. I feel like a baby creator, right? But I've been creating content for, let's say, 3 to 4 years now. So compared to these people, I'm like, oh, you don't create content anymore. Regarding the creator economy, I feel like there's room for people like me because I do a lot of educative content, right? I teach people how to get into content creation because I am a blogger. I make lifestyle vlogs. I vlog about my everyday life. I tell stories and all of that. Aside from Snapchat paying, Facebook paying, we getting brandings and all of that stuff, there is also room for digital products. We also need to talk about how our knowledge is very, very impactful, how we can sell our knowledge, how we can make money from, small things, small events, putting events together, guides, books, master classes, and all of that stuff. So I feel like there's more room for that, and we haven't tapped that very, very well in our own society. So yeah, that's my own little honey pancake. And regarding my struggles, well, I will say things have improved, right? Not everybody started content creation with, help. So I would say if we can have bigger creators, let me just put Lai Wasabi on the spot, right? If we can have bigger creators like Lai Wasabi who can, grant smaller creators with a little bit of help and say, okay, I'm giving this, I'm supporting like this, and these creators would start with that. That would be helpful because a lot of people say the creator economy or content creators, the space is already saturated. And I'm like, but I'll still say I'm not a small creator, right? Let's say credibility. Brands come back all the time because of the credibility. Numbers are great. When you come to somebody's page, you see a lot of numbers like 1 million views, 100,000. I'm not even there yet, by the way. I'm close to 100,000 followers, right? But the credibility and also how you are in tune and how you connect with your community. That is something I do a lot. And I don't know if I'm going to change, if I become a very big creator, because I take my audience on every single step. And I feel like they belong to TikTok. If anybody sees me now, I know you. And that's how I have been able to grow as a creator. And that is why I would say brands reach out to. I'm able to work with global brands because in as much as they want the numbers, they want conversion, they also want consistency, credibility, and authenticity. So,
credibility, guys. Bamidele, let me come to you from a legal standpoint. If you could redesign, someone said to you, redesign the creator economy in Nigeria, what's the one policy change that you're going to make? First, we're living in crazy times where taxes are coming. What is the one policy change you will make to ensure that the creator economy in Nigeria is actually giving people jobs that are valuable?
To be honest, I would beg to create more policy, not just one policy.
Okay.
Because the creator's economy is so big that one policy will not, create a holistic change. Right. The first thing I would say is make taxes simplified for creators. Right? A lot of us have heard, there's a new tax, whatever happening next year. Who understands what it means here? They make it so complicated. Right? And there should also be some sort of allowance for younger creators where you can actually go tax-free for maybe also just starting for a period of time. So a lot of changes can be done for the tax part of things. Then I might also ask them to create some sort of knowledge bank, right, where creators can see themselves not just as an informal sector, but as an actual real-life profession. Because I think the first thing people just see it as, I'm doing influencing at the side also. When I started, when I was influencing them, it was more or less, let's just do ABCD, but maybe because of my legal background, I understood that I needed to have a structure in place. So I was my own lawyer, I was my own manager, I was my own, you name it, right? But now, if you're an influencer, get a lawyer, get an accountant if necessary, because again, from next year, they would not say, you are not aware of the new tax, whatever, so you're going to be left scot-free. Ignorance of the law is an advantage, we all know that, right? So simplify taxes for people, also create some sort of knowledge so that they can be aware of a lot of things, not just on taxes, but also on the ownership of the intellectual property, right? You've created content for brand A, and then brand A says they want to hold it in perpetuity. Excuse me, what does that mean? So there must be consistent awareness and also bridging the gap of the knowledge between what people think they know and the actual reality of things. I think after those three things, then we should be able to see like an upward trend in the creator economy. But if I'm giving the room to do more, then I think we'll just do a whole lot more.
They need to first know themselves. They need to first know who they are. They need to first know what they want to do with their stories, who their target audience is, and also they have to. When you're creating content or building your brand, you also have to be able to see other brands inside your content. That's the, if you want to become a brand influencer, ambassador, if you want to actually make a business out of it, your brand has to be very clean, Because there are brands and there are brands. There are brands that can pay you 100,000 naira and there are brands that can pay you 10 million. Which brand do you want? If you do gutter content, you get paid gutter money. And that's true. But if you position yourself as a premium brand, you will get premium money. You said you're not up to 100K followers, but you're getting global brands. That's exactly it. But there are people with 5 million followers that haven't seen the kind of brands that you work with. That's the truth. So there has to be a lot of intention behind your brand building. You have to lay the groundwork from jump. And that would guide your storytelling, that would guide the kind of pictures you take, that would guide the kind of content you put out on Instagram. Even if you are just going out to have a drink and you're telling stories on your story, it would guide how you do that. Because to be very fair, this is a business. You are the business, right? You are the business. You're not coming for your shares, you're not coming for your sister, you're not coming for you and what you have to offer, because you are the one that's going to make them a lot of money with the content that you put out. So you are the business, and you have to take yourself very seriously from the get-go. That's it.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Look, there's a lot of truth bombs that are being dropped by the experts, these gurus here, and I'm learning. Like, you're not just a comedian. If we say you do comedy content, it's almost like putting you in a box, which I don't think, and I might be wrong, but I don't think that's just who you are. Because from what I have gathered in the content that you've created, your content has created a mind shift, almost like a cultural mind shift from comedy to professional work and storytelling that drives people to different outcomes, right? And where do you see the biggest opportunity for African creators like you?
There's definitely going to be a sizable amount of money that you're losing off of copyright infringement, right? For the longest time, I wasn't uploading on YouTube, right? All my short skit content, and there was a page that built nearly 50,000 subscribers before I even joined YouTube.
Jokes on you.
And it was a YouTube office that they were telling me, this guy has made a lot of money off of you. So I kind of have an idea what that means. And to support what you said, I think definitely content creators should look more into, protecting their content, right? But what can we do as the situation? Nigeria really doesn't have a system for us to protect stuff like that. My lawyer, please, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Right. But so far so good. I think yes, definitely there's a lot of money that you leave unprotected when your content isn't.
Well, yes, so what the gentleman there said is absolutely correct. But also to speak to what he has said. If you are a creator in Nigeria, there is already a system in place for that. Nigerian Copyright Commission ensures that you're able to copyright any of your creations. Either it's your script, either it's your movie, whatever it's like. And the beautiful part again is you don't even need to register necessarily before you're protected. Once you've created it and you put it out there, it's already protected automatically, right? However, registration is necessary just so that you're able to also, if there's any contestation in case of, who owns what, you can say, you know what, I've registered with ABC, XYZ. Same thing with trademarks. And I think the problem again with, a lot of us in this room, or generally, is the fact that we always assume that when it comes to copyright, or protection, it's just about what you've created. There's a part of trademark that I'm talking about, right? Case in point, there's a case I think with like one particular hotel and fine logo, where they had like similar logos, and then this has been on for like years, right? Someone, I think a particular bank tried to also use Mr. Macaroni's slogan or slang, some times ago, but unfortunately it wasn't trademarked. So I could imagine how much you would have lost in that instance if you had registered. A certain dairy milk product or brand also tried to use I think Sabinus' slogan and image and all those things. So I would say there is a knowledge gap with the creators and what the law says. That's why we must ensure that we constantly educate, self-learn, do research on these things on our own. There's trademark, there is copyright, a lot of things I can do, even either as a skit maker, as a producer, as a songwriter, whatever it is you are creating. But also note that when it comes to trademark, it's territorial. So because you registered the trademark commission doesn't mean you can go to Ghana and go and say, why isn't my trademark? It's been registered in Nigeria. Unfortunately, it's territorial, but you can also benefit from certain treaties and conventions that we have. Where you can register in the European Union and be covered all around EU states. You register in Nigeria and be covered around Nigeria. But it would be nice if they can make trademark a bit more affordable, so that you can also try to register more, because there are like 45 classes, and register in each of the classes is protected. It's a bit insane. I think we have a system, but the system is a bit faulty. And I think there's a need for us to look inward and then repair, because how do you expect a young creator to register for 5 classes, to protect his trademark? I think it's just a bit.
I'm shooting my shot now. I've been a big fan of Brashaki even way before I started content creation, like 2020. I watched all the shows. Even till now, my post notification is on 12 p.m. So I know, right? I'm a very big fan. But yeah, collaboration over competition. I'll say collaboration. Even with the new leads that are coming up, you try to collaborate with them. I make friends with smaller creators than I am. So I try my best to collaborate with them. So collaboration over competition to stay relevant, and also don't lose your touch with your community.
Thank you so much. I think that's also very profound. I want to also say, I think I'll say 2 things and then I'll pass the line. First thing is create local, think global. You could be creating your content in your mini flats anywhere or outside Lagos or anywhere. I don't mention cities, right? And you find out that that content is trending or is viral in another country. But when you don't think, global in mind when you're creating, I've seen a lot of people now translate, when they do like they're speaking maybe Yoruba or English, they now put like French subtitles, underneath. That's because they are creating local and they're thinking global, because it also gives them room to expand into different territories. That's one. Number 2 would also be, let us have in mind, like a mindset shift. So don't think content equals to likes. Don't create content for likes. Create content for equity, for ownership. If I'm creating content for a certain brand now, I'm looking at, you're not owning my content for life. You're only able to license content for a period of time, because the future of new media is about ownership, not even about virality. So you need to know that whatever you created, you're able to own those things, even in years to come. I will tell people in this room today that Fela died many years ago, but his estate is still earning from it. His children are still earning from whatever he has created, because when he was creating, he was thinking longevity in creation. So even years after his death, they can still meet his family. They want to do a film on, maybe Fela Nicolako. They are paying for licensing, for image rights, amongst other things. You want to start a clothing brand with Fela's image on it, you have to pay his family for that. So, and also see your digital assets as something that you can will. Those are assets. If I, God forbid, if my enemy decides to die now, I will most likely put my Instagram as a will for my children. So when you don't see those things as just a social media, right? Let me just do it however I want. See it as a structure that I can also pass on to your children for generational wealth. And if you're able to do those things, I guess, that might just be it from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Bambi.
So as a creator, things keep changing, right? Personally for me, the way I started content creation, how I started is not where I am today. I keep reinventing myself. I keep looking for new stories to tell. Because people are coming up every day, there are new tools, there's AI now, you guys see what AI is doing? Jesus! And I've noticed that Nigerians aren't really tapping into that AI thing. I'm seeing some mind-blowing things out there, and this is a tool. It's a tool that has been created for us to create. So I feel like, to stay relevant for a very long time, you need to keep reinventing yourself. Find new stories to tell. Just because you read content like this yesterday doesn't mean it's relevant tomorrow. They keep telling you that. Keep reinventing yourself, keep finding new stories to tell, and you have to also keep your mental health in check. Because creativity is one thing that can destroy your mental health. It is a lot. So you have to have a support system. You have to go to therapy. It's not a joke. Go to therapy, eat well, sleep well, and just surround yourself with positive energy and keep reinventing yourself.
That's a brilliant tip. Thank you so much.
So now let's go to summarize everything that my colleagues have said. Collaboration, very important. Think objectivity and also try to scale your content globally. and reinvent yourself and keep your mental health in check. Thank you. And lastly, keep bombing. Consistency is the name again. Thank you very much.
Now you succeed to make a serious panel rather fun. Thank you very much, Victoire Bamidele, Elodona Mandai, for your wonderful perspective. Thank you to the audience for listening to us. Thank you, NMC, for having us. And if you have any further need for information, please, I am very sure that the NMC Media Group will be able to help you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.